Hello, and welcome back to Let's Replay Mystery Case Files 13th Skull. I'm MCFPapa, and this is part 7. And where we became a cook in the last part, so now we become a delivery boy. And now the guy will stop shooting at us. Ain't that nice of him?
Well, looky here if it ain't my supper. Not sure how I feel about it being delivered by some stranger. You know, folks around here, we don't take kindly to strangers. Mr. Who? Oh, you must mean that fella moved in next door. I wasn't aware he'd gone missing. All I know is he's keeping odd hours and poking around here like he lost something. I also heard that that couple they hired to clean up the place is into the devil magic. You know, voodoo. I hear tell Mary Lee does the cavorting with the spirits and such. If I were you, stranger, I'd keep my distance from that one. She's just trouble looking for a place to happen. You don't want to go messing with that. Their house next door has been subject to speculation for a long while. Now, I can't tell you much about the house's history, but I can tell you this, it's sat there empty for as long as I can remember. I'm surprised the Lawsons decided to move in, with it being cursed and all. Of course, they're not river folk like us, and probably don't carry much sense.
Probably not.
The curse of the pirate Phineas Crown. Some folks believe that house next door was built by him, and that his ghost still walks the halls, keeping an eye out for folks trying to steal all his treasure. Listen, stranger, I'd love to talk with you more about this, but my wife's been nagging me all week to get that old air conditioner fixed. How about this? Why don't you take a look at it and get that thing fixed, and then I'll tell you all I know about that pirate.
I like Cooter. He's probably my favorite character in this game.
Why don't you sit down and tell me about it? I've been hungry all afternoon. Pardon me? Pardon me. Yeehaw! It's the best gumbo Lamont's ever made.
Huh.
Why don't you sit down and tell me about it?
And then if you try to go in the house...
Cooter! I'm not having you or any guests until that air conditioner gets fixed.
Uh-huh.
Mercy. It's hotter than a goat's butt in a pepper patch.
Now that's hot.
Cooter! I'm not having you or any guests until that air conditioner gets fixed.
And then all the air conditioner supplies are conveniently right nearby. Was the other wire in here? I thought the third wire was in this thing. Maybe not. But anyway, we can now finally... Oh wait, first... read our journal entry. After preparing an order of chicken gumbo for the understaffed bartender, she talked me into delivering it to the Lawsons' rather uncouth neighbor, Travis Cooter Landry. Mr. Landry is unacquainted with the Lawsons, but is familiar with their hired hands, Mary and Louis Lee. According to Landry, Mrs. Lee is a known practitioner of voodoo. He went so far as to suggest keeping my distance from her entirely. In addition to the rumor about Mary Lee, Mr. Landry mentioned the Lawson estate lying vacant for as long as he could remember and attributed that to the curse of a pirate named Phineas Crown. When asked for more information on the curse, his wife appeared at the door and berated him for leaving their air conditioner in a state of disrepair. Maybe if I fix it, he'll give me more information on the mysterious pirate. Ain't that interesting, though, that Cooter doesn't remember anyone owning the house before the Lawsons when the Lawsons mention that they inherited it from like her great aunt after she died. That's not a waist pack game. That's a fanny pack. Call it what it is, a fanny pack. Just gotta find a whole straight up radiator. Something tells me, though, this pickup of Cooter's doesn't actually get much use as a pickup, otherwise there wouldn't be all this junk in it. I'm sure Cooter won't mind us taking his shovel from him. Oh yeah, the duct tape is there. And under the house is another hidden object scene. Ooh, they forgot a space there on the toy car. I don't know why Cooter has like a whole fridge like overturned down here. Maybe his wife like told him to take it to the dump, but his pickup truck was so full of other junk he couldn't actually haul it. So his solution was just to dump it under the house. Maybe he's hoping if there's a hurricane or something and like there gets to be bad flooding, then the water will just wash all this junk away and he won't have to deal with it. Maybe that's his game plan. And now here's an error, like the pickaxe we found in the scene was all old and rusty, but this one's like nice and brand new. Come on. I don't know how an air conditioner got so messed up with like broken wires and missing piping and everything. But hey, it's all good now. And they're doing a bit of greenery growing.
Well, sit me on an anthill and rub jam in my ears. If that's the sound of my old air conditioner running, you just made yourself a new best friend. Now you just tell me what old Cooter can help you with. Like I was saying, folks say the famous pirate Phineas Crown built that house next door. Some say he's buried in the cemetery down the road. Folks around here are smart enough to stay clear of that place. Oh, Phineas Crown was a wicked one, all right. He used to run a smuggling operation out of New Orleans in the 1700s and eventually got into pirating the Gulf of Mexico. He and his men would sneak up alongside trading ships in the middle of the night and everyone on board. Instead of looting the ship, he'd steal the whole dang thing. No one knows what happened to the ships he plundered. Some folks say he sailed them right up the Mississippi and into the swamps around here. When he got too old for pirating, he built a big old mansion and threw a party. And it was there, people say, that a horrible fire broke out and killed every last guest.
That sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? I do, though, really like the lighting on Cooter, too. Like, really makes it feel like just a simple porch light is all that's lighting him up. Lucky for me, Mr. Landry had enough junk lying around in his property to get his air conditioner running again. I can now add AC repair specialist to my resume should my career as a detective go downhill. With his chores completed and a belly full of gumbo, Mr. Landry told me everything he knew about the pirate Phineas Crown. Local legend holds that Captain Crown pirated several vessels in the Gulf of Mexico and sailed them up the Mississippi into the nearby swamps. Upon retirement from his life of crime, he supposedly built the manor where the Lawsons presently reside. Soon after building the home, a terrible fire broke out and razed the manor, causing the loss of many lives. A news article I found corroborates this information with one curious discrepancy. The manor was owned by an individual named Poncer, not Crown. At any rate, there appears to be a footing of truth to this story. But what does Mr. Lawson's disappearance have to do with it? And what is Mary Lee not telling me? I wonder.
Hi, Detective. Welcome to Louisiana. My name's Charlotte. Why don't you cool off with a nice cold glass of lemonade? I take it you've had the misfortune of meeting my other half, Cooter. Good mercy. Where did I go wrong to marry that sack of bricks? Yes, we finally have some new faces just down the lane. I still should throw them a proper housewarming. I'm afraid Cooter doesn't like me leaving the house, as he is just plumb sure that I will run off with another man. Anyway, I just spend my days watching my stories and working on my dog collection. Mr. Cricket's belonged to my dear mother before she passed, rest her soul. You see, Mother was deathly afraid of snakes. And since snakes are afraid of parrots, well, she found a feathered friend and a protector in Mr. Cricket's.
Makes sense.
I apologize for the vulgarity the bird has learned from my loathsome husband. Oh, my dolls are my pride and joy. The doctor told us years ago that we should not have children because of Cooter's temper. But their tiny voices console me at night when I wish that I had made better life choices. Aside from Mr. Cricket's, my dolls are my prized possession. I only need one more to complete my collection. And there's one in that game down at the tavern. But I've never had the good fortune of getting it out.
Poopy bird. Pretty doll, pretty doll. Dirty bird.
Yeah, now, the most important thing about her doll collection is there's a crown insignia in it.
Keep your hands off our property.
We can't take a look at the trunk yet. But now, despite Charlotte's somewhat off, appearance and attitude, she is, however, a woman of culture, because she subscribes to Clowns and Ammo magazine too. I love that little callback to Madame Fate. After winning his trust by fixing the air conditioner, Mr. Landry invited me inside to meet his wife, Charlotte. Charlotte has an agreeable disposition, but it's hard to miss the flicker of crazy behind her eyes. She disavowed any familiarity with the Lawsons and stated that she rarely gets out of the house because of her husband's jealous nature. The modest home is fairly nondescript, save for a noisy parrot and a locked chest that I was instructed to stay away from. The parrot, named Mr. Crickets, belonged to Charlotte's mother before she died. Apparently her mother was afraid of snakes and believed Mr. Crickets to be some kind of reptile deterrent. The only additional item of interest is a small collection of dolls, in which Mrs. Landry takes great pride. She has asked for my assistance in acquiring the one doll that eludes her at the tavern down the road. Like I said, crazy. I don't even know what that's supposed to be in there, like a cup of tea or something? I don't know. But anyway, we gotta go back to town.
If you ain't drinking, don't bother winking. What you drinking, Shug? If you ain't drinking, don't bother.
Now we can play the claw game, but something of note is that the CD plus ER that we found in the tree in Dire Grove is here as well. I wonder if Charles and Emma really ever did come here. Or at least Charles came. I think the doll's somewhere around here. I don't think it's randomized. It might be, though. I'm not sure. Can't even seem to get any other prizes for our trouble. There it is. Yay. I don't have time to be playing games, the Master Detective says after we just played a game. Now we can just give her her doll, but it's just a tiny little thing compared to all the bigger ones.
Wobby, you've completed my collection. Oh, don't they look so happy all together like that? I wish I had some money to repay you, but Cooter handles the finances. I'll let you borrow Mr. Crickets for a little while, but you have to keep him away from that Mary Lee. That woman working for them folks down the road should not be trusted. Who knows what kind of voodoo she could do to my sweet Mr. Crickets?
Who
If I were
knows?
you, I would keep my eye on her.
Well, let's just take Mr. Crickets. But Mr. Crickets will always fly away if you try to take him. I actually need, though, the screwdriver. I think that's back here. Yeah, in this hidden object scene. That seems pretty small for a car battery. Maybe it's actually like for a golf cart or something. But there, now with the screwdriver, we can go upstairs. And there's still bees there, but just throw the honey. And then there, we're able to get to the bird cage, which we need to use the screwdriver on. And now with the bird cage, we can take Mr. Crickets without him running off. So we'll question Mary and her beliefs in the next part. So like and subscribe if you want. I'll see you then. Now she's switched to using a duster instead of just sweeping. Must be making a good progress.